Shalom, this is Levi Schorr. Welcome back to Swing at Torah. So we have an amazing Parsha this week, Parshat Toldot, and we're going to bring the Ohr Gedaliah. We're going to bring Rabbi Gedaliah Schorr and his amazing insight into the Parsha. And I first heard this from my Rebbe, Rabbi Daniel Wilner at Esha Torah in Yerushalayim in Jerusalem. And I heard it years ago, and it really opened my mind to the fact that the Torah isn't just stories about all these people that lived thousands of years ago. And the Torah is really much more, and it's really the blueprint for all creation and all of world history, and everything is contained in there. And it gives us insight of what's happening now and all these current events that are happening and unfolding right before us right now. So hopefully I'll do this justice. May Hashem give me the words to say this amazing Torah from the Ohr Gedaliah. And let's jump right in. Okay, so it's interesting. So he says that these things are known, that the Avos, meaning Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, that they were coming to L'sakein, they were coming to fix the chet, the sin of Adam Arishon, of Adam. And it's explained in the Midrash that that Abraham Avinu was created, and he began, his creation was in the beginning of the Bria, of creation. It was Bihi Baram. It was for Abraham, is a famous drush on that pasuk. So he was created in order that he would if Adam Arishon would sin, that Abraham would come and he would fix it. So it's explained in Derech Hashem by the Ramchal, Rabbi Chaim Moshe Lozano, and he explains in length that all the avos, they were coming to fix this chet. They were coming to fix the sin of Adam. And that one of the fixes would be from each one of their midah. So for instance, Abraham, he had the midah of chesed, of kindness, and that would fix part of the chet from the side of the midah of chesed. And Yitzhak, he was coming to fix the midah of gevurah, and it's the pachad Yitzhak. It's the fear of Yitzhak during the Akedah. So Gevurah is when a person is self-control and restraint. And he was coming to fix that aspect. And then he was fixing it through the midah of din, of judgment, justice. And in truth, that chesed and Gevurah, kindness and strength, that they are aspects of this concept of the Torah of sor me'ra v'aseh tov. So turn away from evil and do good. And that Gevurah is the battle with the Yetzer Hara, with the evil impulse inside of us, and to conquer it. And that's the battle of Gevurah. So Ben Zoma, he says in Pirkei Avos, he says, Ezehu Gibor, who is a strong man? Who is strong? And his answer is Hakovesh et Yitzro, someone that conquers his own Yetzer Hara, someone that conquers his own evil impulse inside him. And then this is the basis, the ikar of the avoda of Yitzhak. That's his spiritual work that he had to do during his lifetime. So, bior ra, that he wanted to burn up evil, unasiras hara me'atov, and remove the evil from the good. And Avraham, he was the midah of chesed, of kindness, and then his avoda was done through achava, a love, and the ikar, the basis of his avoda, was the aspect of osei tov, to do good. So this avoda of fixing the chet, this was given over. This avoda was given over. It started with Abraham, and Yitzhak continued it, and then it was given over to Yaakov and Esav. And it's explained by the Shlach HaKodesh. And he explains at the pasuk, "V'hine tomim bebitna," that they are twins in your stomach. I was talking about Rivka; she had twins in her stomach, and that we find that there is the Eitz Chaim, there's the tree of life, and there's the Eitz Das, and there's the tree of knowledge, and they're betoch hagan, they're in the middle of the garden of Eden. And that both of them, they come out from one root. That both these trees came out from one root. And they were born, these two twins. And they also came from one branch. They came from one branch. And Yaakov was an aspect of the Eitz Chaim, of the tree of life, and Esau was the aspect of the Eitz Das Tov Ra, the tree of knowledge of good and evil. So he says, let me explain, my original words, that Adam Arishon, before the Chet, when Adam was first created, before he ate from the tree of knowledge, that he was attached completely to the tree of life, to the Eitz Chaim, and that there was no mixture in him of any ra, of any evil whatsoever. And then it's pashut, it's obvious that this was his bechira, this was his free will, this was his choice. That his free will was that he would be able to conquer. He chose to try to conquer the ra once it was inside him, once he ate from the tree of knowledge, and that there wouldn't be any feeling of the ra at all if he didn't eat from that tree. And let's see. And then after he ate from the Eitz Das, after he ate from the tree of knowledge, that the Ra then became part of his essence of Adam Rishon. And the Ra entered into him, the evil entered into him, and then it mixed, and the evil mixed with the good. So what does this mean? So we have all these thoughts going through our head all the time, and some of these thoughts are bad, and some of these thoughts are good. So what we have to do, the battle with the Yetzer Hara, is to not listen to any of these thoughts and say, oh, do this bad, do that bad. We don't want to listen to that. And we have thoughts that are like, oh, do this good thing. That's our avoda. That's our battle. That's the battle everyone has. And that's what it means, this mixture of good and of tov and ra, good and bad. So then the avoda of Adam Rishon, his spiritual work, was after the chet to control the ra, to control this evil that was now inside him, and then to preserve, to win the strength of the good that's inside him, to strengthen the good inside him to overcome the bad. So Yaakov Avinu, Jacob, that he was the aspect of Adam Rishon before the chet, before Adam Rishon ate from the tree of knowledge. That is what Yaakov was like. Now this is really incredible. So Chazal says that the appearance of Yaakov Avinu was like the appearance of Adam Rishon. And it's explained that he was like similar to Adam Rishon before the chet. That he looks similar in his appearance to Adam before the chet, and that this is the essence of the appearance of Adam Rishon, and that Yaakov is completely attached to the Eitz Chaim, to the tree of life, and he is basically all good without any mixture of ra at all. And Yaakov, he was born that he was already purified from the poselis, from the spiritual impurity of Yishmael and Esav. And he was born all good. And his avoda, so what's his avoda? If he had no ra inside him, what was his avoda? And his avoda was to do much good. So he didn't have the struggle between the good and the evil. So his avoda was to bring all this good out into the world. And it was the aspect of osei tov, to do good. So learn Torah, do the mitzvah. So we see he didn't have this struggle. So that's how he could do these miraculous things. Like he could learn in the yeshiva of Shem Ve'eber for 14 years, I think it was, without sleeping. I mean, there's no evil holding him back. He was just pure good. And Yaakov, he is described in the pasuk as Yaakov ish tam yoshev ochalim, that he was this ish tam, he was pure, and he would sit in tents, which means he would just sit and learn Torah and learn how to do the mitzvahs, and that was what he did. So he just brought wisdom and Torah into the world. And he was tam, he was pure, he didn't have any sig, he didn't have any dross, like impurities and like metal. He had no pagam, no blemish, and therefore his job, his career was just to sit in the tent and learn Torah. And he attached himself completely to the Eitz Chaim, to the tree of life. Now, Esav was created, he had a lot of evil inside of him. And Chazal says that, every time Rivka, when she was pregnant with both of them, she would pass a house of Avodah Zarah, Esav would be kicking, and fighting to get out, because that's what he was attracted to, because he was mainly ra, mainly evil. And he had this spark of good. Now his mission, his tafkid, his mission, his goal in life of Esau was to fix also the chet of Adam Rishon, and to fix the mixture of evil with the good. And he would do that, and this was because of Adam Rishon ate from the Eitz Das, from the tree of knowledge. And therefore that the essence of Esau was this mixture of Ra v'Tov, the evil with the good. And that his avoda, his spiritual work, was to conquer the evil inside of him. And then he would nullify, and then through his good, through the little bit of good he had, he would nullify all the evil inside of him. And Esav had this spark, he had a spark of good, the spark of Tov, and he had sparks of Kedusha. And the Tov, it's interesting, the Tov was, could conquer, could be have power over the Ra, over the evil. So his avoda was to conquer the evil. And the Arizal, Rabbi Luria, he explains that the pasuk says that Esav, he was ki tzayid bepiv, that he was a hunter, he hunted with his mouth. Because Esav, that he had the spark of Kedusha, the spark of holiness was in his mouth, and that the Kedusha of Esav, it was all found in his mouth. So that's where the good resided in him. And this Kedusha, this holiness, was not part of his essence, because it was just in his mouth. It wasn't swallowed up in his whole body. Rather, it was just from his lips and outward. And so we find the Gemara, we see the praise of Rabban Shimon Gamliel, that Esav was amazing in kivud avim. He was amazing in the mitzvah of honoring his father and his mother. And the avoda was to nullify the evil, and with this kedusha that was in him. And if Esav had fulfilled his purpose, then he was fit to be equal with Yaakov, and he would have children with Yaakov, and then both of them would continue the avoda of the avos. So it would have been Abraham, Yitzhak, Isaac, and it would have been Yaakov, Jacob, and Esav, and they would have been the continuation of the line, and and they would have continued the work of the avos to fix the chet of Adam Rishon. And Yaakov, he would be from the side of Osei Tov, learning Torah, going out there and doing mitzvahs, and Esau would be from the side of turning away from evil. And then we find in the Midrash that Esau was fit, that he could have had 6 of the Shvatim. He should have had 6 of the tribes would have come from Esau. Esau would have married Leah, and they would have had 6 of the Shvatim. And then Yaakov would have married Rachel, and they would have had the other 6. Instead of all 12 coming from Yaakov is what happened. And he was fit to memshek, to be the continuation of the avoda. And they would have done both of this together. So we see in a Midrash, the pasuk, V'rav ya'avod seir. And the greater one, or the older one, he will serve the younger, the seir. Im zacha, if he merits it. So usually the pashit, the obvious or simple reading of this Midrash is that if Yaakov merits it, then Esav will submit himself to Yaakov. But Rashi, he explains in the Midrash Rabbah, he says that the kavana is, it's upon Esav really, that if Esav merits, then the Rav Yavod Seir. So I'm not sure, so let's see what he's saying. So he's saying that this means that the ikar of the purpose, the mission of Esav in this world, is that he would submit himself to Yaakov. So if Esav merited it, he would submit himself to Yaakov. And therefore, the Midrash says, Im Zaka, if he merits it. So if he will merit Esav, that will be his goal. And that he will burn up the Ra, he will burn up the evil that's inside him, and he will nullify completely to the Eitz Chaim, to the tree of life. And then the Rav, the greater one, or the older one, will serve the younger. And we find in Rashi that the pasuk, and the Shnei Goyim bebit necha. So there are 2 that Rivka went to inquire of Hashem. She went to the yeshiva of Shem, who was the son of Noach, and she couldn't understand why she had all this fighting and this pain when she was pregnant. And he told her that you have twins, and these twins are going to be these 2 nations that are inside your stomach. And that we see the perfect example, example of when a descendant of Esav reaches his great potential was in Antoninus, in Emperor Marcus Aurelius Antoninus. and in Rabbeinu HaKodesh, our holy rabbi, Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi. Rabbi Yehuda the Prince, who compiled the Mishnah. And we see in their friendship, we see the possibility of a descendant of Esav reaching his greatness in Emperor Marcus Aurelius. And we see a great rabbi like Rabbi Yehuda Nasi. And these were two, one was an emperor and one was a prince of Israel. And we see the friendship between them. We see the potential that was there between the children of Yaakov and the children of Esav working together. So we see it in the relationship of Antoninus and Rebbe. And Antoninus, he submitted himself completely to Rebbe. And we find in the Gemara in Avodah Zarah that Antoninus, he asked of Rebbe to, it says, never from his table was there a lack of, let's see, Rebbe said that Antoninus himself, he was the goal of Esav, to biddle himself and to nullify himself and submit himself to Yaakov. And we see that Marcus Aurelius brought himself up to the greatest level of what that avoda was, to conquer all the evil within yourself. And we see that Marcus Aurelius, if you read any of his writings, he was a great philosopher. It says that in the Gemara that he studied Torah with Rebbe, with Rabbeinu HaKodesh, and they had this great friendship. And we see that we don't have to have this war between the two nations of Esav and Yaakov. So Rashi explains that the Kavanis is not like the two, let's see, the form of Yaakov and Esav, that it needs to be, sorry, so I don't know exactly what the Ohr Gedaliah is saying at the end. But let me say this. So right now, we really see a battle for the soul of America right now. And I think it's amazing because America is one of the least anti-Semitic countries on the whole planet. It's definitely the strongest country probably right now in the whole world. And there's a real battle for the heart and mind and the soul of America. There's definitely forces that want to take America down a darker path, and a path really fighting against Hashem, and a path really absorbed in evil and corruption. And I think there's a lot of great people in America, and they want America to be a great country that really stands for God, that stands for Hashem, and would help the Jewish people to bring this knowledge of Hashem and bring in the Messianic age. So I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but one day we do know that Hashem will send Mashiach. There will be a king descended from Yosef and descended from David HaMelech, King David, and he will bring the knowledge of the Torah and the knowledge of Hashem, that all of us are created from this one infinite being. And one day it would be beautiful. It seems like such a dream right now, but it would be beautiful to see the children of Yaakov and the children of Esav and the children of Ishmael all live in peace in this world and all have knowledge, that we're all created from this one creator. So B'ezrat Hashem, we'll see these days of peace and not these looming days of war and darkness before us. All the best, and hope to see you back again soon on Sweet Good Torah.